Hi, and welcome to Coach's Corner. I'm your host, DJ Oakley. Coach Ames is here. We'll pick his brain in just a few minutes, but first, let's check out those highlights against Frostburg State. First half, here we go. Frostburg State in town to take on our Titans. Right off the get-go, here come the Titans. Nick McCloskey on the right side. 14-yard gain down to the 18-yard line. Titans keeping things going. Kevin Franz, what a great faker he is. Fakes the handoff, goes to Nick McCloskey. You're going to see 33. A lot more in this highlight as he dances in the end zone for 7. There it is. Extra point up and good. Titans lead 7-0. Dropping back, Andre Dixon, one of the better quarterbacks you're going to see. Complete to Benjamin Tate. Downfield, now Dixon looking down to his right side, firing to the end zone. Here's going to be a big touchdown to Jared McCormick. 7-7 is your score on the Nathan Menhorn extra point. Titans trying to get things going early, and on the ensuing kickoff, here's Chad Rossitelli, the better open field runner in the President's Athletic Conference. You're going to see why right here. Breaks it 25 yards on the kickoff, giving the Titans pretty good field position for Kevin Franz and Nick McCloskey right here. McCloskey truck sticks right there, runs over a man, 19 yards downfield, and they keep going. He can't just run over people, he's got some finesse. Look at Kevin Franz into the end zone, out of the backfield is Nick McCloskey. Touchdown Titans, they keep things going. Now Andre Dixon trying to get things done with his legs. Splits the Titan D up into the 20, past the 20-yard line, trying to do things again. This time Jordan Glenn shuts down the Bobcat offense. Dixon takes offense to it, goes to the end zone, finds his man right here. Touchdown Fred Howes, and it's tied once again. Titans trying to make another lead right here. Going to J.C. Vasello, 22 yards downfield. He earned each and every inch of that 22 yards. Then he goes to the left side. Brett Ziegler, 36 yards out. Touchdown Titans. They lead 21-14. Here come the Bobcats. Once again, complete to Fred Howes downfield, tackled by Eric Brown. Here comes Andre Dixon into the end zone, 21-20 because the extra point is blocked. Picked up by Jake Wilzinski. He's going to attempt to take it all the way to the house. He's not going to be able to do it. Comes up just short. One man to beat. Couldn't do it. But the Titans trying to make things happen down in the red zone. Here's Nick McCloskey. Cuts back inside. Gets down to the 1-yard line. The Titans ready to punch it in. They go to Jacob Schaefer, the freshman sensation. Touchdown Titans, 27-20 because the extra point's no good. That's the way we're going to go into halftime, 27-20. Now, Coach, 27-20 going into halftime. That's a lot of points for one half. What's going through your mind going into the locker room?
Well, I knew offensively we were rolling. I knew Frostburg was going to make a few adjustments to try and slow our running game down and our efficiency in the passing game. But defensively, we knew we had to step it up.
Now, somebody I've been pretty hard on this year, Kevin Franz, really had an excellent first half. 14 for 14. He showed up to play, and it was literally perfect. Talk about his experience in that game against Frostburg.
Oh, I thought that that was one of his better halves of football that he's played here as a Titan, and it shows that he's continuing to mature. He was not flawless though, and there were things that need to be corrected from that first half.
Is this a sign of things to come from number 17?
Oh, that my thoughts on that. Kevin is a great quarterback. He's a quarterback that has a tremendous amount of potential and is getting better all the time.
Now, the tailback in that situation, we saw Nick McCloskey just truck stick pretty much anything that moved in that football game. But out of the backfield, he's like a Mustang. He's just absolutely amazing. And we saw the catch there on the highlights. Absolute fantastic game by McCloskey as well. That's what made it tough for the WCN Player of the Week between Franz and McCloskey. But, we have to give it to Franz because of an excellent play. Talk about Nick a little bit and the fact of how excited you are to have a running back that can do both the finesse and the power running.
Well, he's getting better at the power stuff every day, and it's the he's always had that finesse gene, and now it's just being more confident and being able to finish off runs a little better.
Now, you really couldn't see from the highlights how big Frostburg State was, but they were a bunch of big boys. What's the advantage and disadvantages of going up against a big team like that?
Well, they're a little bigger. Most of the teams we play are going to be a little bigger than us. This team was a little bigger, and I don't believe that they were as fast a Frostburg team as we've played in the past, though.
What do you think the disadvantage of playing a big team is against such a? We're not small, but we're smaller than usual.
Well, I think that if they have the right mindset and the right attitude, they can wear you down if they're a bigger team. They were a bigger team. They weren't necessarily a wear you down type of team. So we pretty much were able to wear them down, which is fortunate on our side.
Were you impressed by the Frostburg team that showed up on Saturday?
Yes, offensively, very much so. I thought defensively, we knew that we had to be able to run the ball on that front. I said last week, and we knew that they were skilled in the secondary, and we took advantage of them when we had to.
Andre Dixon, one of the better quarterbacks that we're going to see this year. We saw a few from the pack, but Andre Dixon can do it both through the air and on the ground. How did you plan on stopping him, and did you achieve that?
Well, I think we limited what they could do, and we made the stops when we had to. They made some crucial third down and fourth down conversions, which is something that you have to give them credit for, but then there were some mistakes on our part.
Do you feel that getting a week off from pack play helped the team, and especially going into the last 2 weeks of the pack season?
I believe so. I do. I think that, kind of taking the pressure off of the pack race for a week, and now gaining that confidence and coming back into the pack race this week.
Do you feel that going into a game against Teal and Waynesburg, it's going to help you with a big win over Frostburg? I mean, this wasn't a blowout, but in the back of your mind, you can win those close games.
Well, I think that it was a solid victory. I think the guys realized that yes, we can win a close game, and when we decide to play a true team game, that we are a good team.
All right, we're going to take a look at the second half highlights, see how the Titans did in that half number 2.
Pick it up second half. Bobcats trying to do some damage. Scott Brucker, a little damage of his own. Tackle in the backfield. Bobcats still fighting, scratching, and clawing their way. Complete from Dixon all the way down to the 9-yard line. Stopped by Daniel Joyce right there. Menhorn on to attempt a 32-yard field goal. Kick is up. It's deep enough. It's right down the pipe, and it is good. Your score 27-23. Chad Rossatelli, here he comes. He's so dangerous. 25-yard return already. He returns this one 21 yards, and now Titans trying to get things going. Look at McCloskey just running through people, and Franz trying to help him out right here. Big tackle in the backfield. However, face mask against Frostburg. That'll move the Titans up. Automatic first down, and Franz takes advantage. A big play right here to Brett Ziegler. 28 yards out. Ziegler breaks a couple of tackles. Touchdown Titans. They go up big against Frostburg. Last-ditch effort. Fumble caused by Scott Brucker. Titans recover. They win this one. Final score 34-30 in favor of Titan Blue.
And Coach, obviously after a big first half, 47 points, a defensive, technically a defensive struggle in the second half, what adjustments did you make at halftime defensively?
Well, we didn't make a lot of adjustments. We just had to realize what plays they were running and settling down and playing football. We put in some minor adjustments up front to be able to defend some of the running game a little bit better, and then we just explained to the guys how they're running certain plays against our fronts.
So key in the second half, a bunch of plays, offensively and defensively. What really stands out to you as the key play of the game for the Titans?
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, the score's 34-30, and we force a fumble to take possession in the fourth quarter, and that was a key turning point in the game, and that was when we knew that we were going to be able to finish them off.
Right. Their momentum, so important in football games, and right now, coming off a 3-game skid going into Frostburg, you guys needed to pick up some momentum. Do you feel that your team picked that up going into the last 2 games of the season?
I believe so. I do, and I think that this group is they're willing to pay the price and do what they need to do to get the job done.
Talk about the difference between what would happen when we won, obviously, against what if we would have lost to Frostburg State going into the last 2 games.
If we would have lost that game, I mean, we would have had to have regrouped and said, well, we have 2 conference games left, and you know, we're in the same boat conference-wise. We just don't have that. We wouldn't have had that little bit of confidence.
And back to reality, we did win the game. So what are the advantages going into those 2 games?
Well, you just have that confidence that you know that, you know, offensively we've had 2 good weeks, 2 good weeks. Defensively, we know that we can get the job done when we have to and when we put our minds to it.
Now, looking back at that Frostburg State game, can you give us some pros and cons of, you know, both the offense and the defense?
Well, I think the pros I already mentioned. Defensively, we made the plays when we had to, and stepping up, and we had some guys that you know, stepping up and making plays that you know, that have been just consistent players the last couple of weeks, and step up and made some crucial plays. And then offensively, you know, we moved the ball very well when we wanted to, and when we weren't hurting ourselves by penalties and other things. And then we just got to get that one very poor decision out of the repertoire.
What concerned you the most about this Bobcat football team, and was it neutralized?
Well, what concerned me was that they had 2 very good backs, and either one of them could carry the ball, as well as Andre, the quarterback, who you know, is dangerous through the air to some degree, but then also he has a good set of feet himself.
What concerned you about us going into the game as the Titans? Was there injuries, the turnover battle, because we're last in the pack going into the game, and did we overcome that?
Well, yeah, turnovers always you know, always concern a coach, and you know, if you're not playing good sound defense and you're turning the ball over, it makes for a long day. But we started to play better defense, and we did limit the turnovers to some degree.
Overall, as a game as a whole, can you rate the Titan performance between an A and an F scale?
Well, I think overall, as far as in the entire team, I mean, I have to give us an A+ on getting a victory, and you know, and the bottom line, the only stat that matters is the alphabet stat, and we got the W.
All right, we're going to take a real quick break. We'll be back with Therese right after this.
What would it mean to you to have the most updated hair wardrobe using Paul Mitchell? Needing a change or just want to update your style? Then call the Right Place Hair Salon. Their staff has the newest techniques and color formulas for the latest hair collections. The Right Place is a Paul Mitchell focused salon that not only creates new hair and confidence for you, but also offers tanning and waxing services. So if you want it done right, call the Right Place Salon, 724-946-9299, or check us out on the web at therightplacesalon.com.
I'm starving. I love being hungry because when the mom in my family's on the go all day and comes home to our hungry family, I know she's going to serve up Augustine's Italian frozen pizza. The smell of roasted garlic, fresh mozzarella, and zesty marinara lingers throughout the house as if we lived in our own Italian village. And the best part is Augustine's frozen pizza is made right here in Newcastle and can be found in our local grocery store. 6 varieties of Augustine's ready-to-bake pizzas. Love being hungry. Love Augustine's frozen pizzas.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner, everyone. I'm Therese Marsleck with your Week 8 edition of the Pack Report. Let's first start out by seeing the Pack standings of the teams. Washington and Jefferson is officially the undefeated team in the Pack right now. Waynesburg trails with a record of 4-1. Grove City is even with a 3-3. Bethany and Thomas More have a 2-3 mark. Westminster holds a 3-1 mark. And Teal is at the bottom with 1 win and 4 losses. Pack provisional member Geneva would be 6-1, and St. Vincent would be 0-6. Let's take a closer look at the games of this past weekend. Bethany hosted Thomas More on Saturday. Well, for the first time this season, Thomas More lost a road game. Senior Kyle James hauled in a team-high 94 yards and a touchdown for the Saints, while senior John Resch had a team-high 8 receptions. Thomas More was led defensively by Matt Clark, who had 14 tackles, and senior Les Callgrove, who added 11 tackles, forced a fumble, and had a reception. On the Bethany Bison side of things, quarterback Milton Joyner threw for 239 yards and 3 touchdowns, with scoring passes of 5 and 50 yards to Taylor McNeil, and threw a 17-yard touchdown pass to Matt Cruz. Matthew Dale also scored for the Bison on a 62-yard punt return. Bethany was able to score the first 28 points of the game. Defensively, the Bison held the Saints' rushing attack that was averaging more than 150 yards to just 30 yards on 15 carries. Kellen Lieb and Michael Salters each added 6 tackles and picked off a pass. Final score, Bethany 25, Thomas More 14. Next, we look at what probably was the biggest nail-biter of the season, the game of Washington and Jefferson versus Waynesburg. Waynesburg was able to hold a 21-7 lead midway through the third quarter. Freshman running back Robert Heller recorded 289 yards with 2 touchdowns, which led Heller to breaking 2 records for the day. Defensively, Dan Andreasse led the Yellow Jackets with 18 tackles, a forced fumble, and fumble recovery. Mike Zerwin and DJ DeWitt each finished with 3 sacks. On W&J's side of things, the Presidents fought back from a 14-7 halftime deficit by second-half touchdowns from David DeVita and Bobby Swallow. Swallow completed 27 of 42 passes for 208 yards and 1 score, while Kevin Matthews gained 115 yards on 21 attempts. The Presidents were outgained for the first time this season, but were able to hold about a 10-minute advantage in time of possession. W&J was able to come back with the lead by the end of the game with a score W&J 22, Waynesburg 21. Finally, we take a look at the game of St. Vincent versus Geneva. The Bearcats quarterback Mike Spiel completed 11 passes for 195 yards and a pair of scores while running for a 3rd touchdown. Greg Chinchilla, Sheldon Loeffner, and Joe Strickland all had a touchdown reception. Dan Laskowski led both sides with 5 catches, while Rob James gained 85 yards on 1 catch. Defensively, Jeremy Baker had 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Although St. Vincent posted 27 points on the Pac's top-ranked defense, the Bearcats could just not pull off the win. Geneva had 2 big plays by John Manerick, who blocked 2 punts that led directly to 14 points. Gerard Mouchette recorded 2 touchdown runs to help open a 36-0 lead at halftime. David Girardi replaced Bobby Bondi at quarterback this weekend. He ran for a pair of touchdowns and threw for another. Final score, Geneva 56, St. Vincent 27. Now it's time to look at the offensive, defensive, and special teams players of the week. Offensive player of the week goes to none other than Robert Heller of Waynesburg. The freshman running back broke 2 records this weekend, first for rushing 289 yards, and second for setting single-season record of 21 total touchdowns for the season. Defensive player of the week goes to Dan Andreasse, also of Waynesburg. The senior linebacker set a new single-game career high with 18 total tackles, 12 of them being solo. He also recorded a forced fumble and a fumble recovery. And special teams player of the week goes to Matthew Dale of Bethany. The sophomore returned a punt 62 yards, 4 touchdowns. He also caught 2 passes for 11 yards. Let's take a look at who will be matched up for this Saturday's games. St. Vincent travels to Grove City. Carnegie Mellon will be at Bethany. TIA will be coming to Bury Stadium this week to take on the Titans. Waynesburg plays Geneva, and W&J are at Thomas More. Now it's time to see who's in the lead for the NFL Pick'em Challenge. I'll just say it, DJ is still in the lead by 1. I'm still trailing him by 1, and Coach Hand is still trying to catch up. But I think we might change things around this week. But as of right now, the games are Pittsburgh versus Baltimore, Houston versus Oakland, New England versus Indianapolis, Dallas versus Philadelphia, and Washington versus the New York Jets. But actually, me and DJ talked prior to the show, and we are actually going to pick from every single NFL game this week. So it should be a very interesting week to see who becomes in the lead. Well, that does it for the Week 8 edition of the Pack Report. We'll be right back after this.
Ice skating, what a great form of exercise and fun. And there's no better place than Hess Ice Rink in Newcastle. Interested in figure skating or hockey? Come in and be part of our Learn to Skate program, open to all ages and skill levels. Hess Ice Rink, the home of the Hess Hockey Association and the area's largest competitive figure skating team, open every day. Hess Ice Rink welcomes all ages to come and enjoy the excitement and sport of ice skating. Let Hess plan your next birthday party or occasion. Hess Ice Rink on Mitchell Road in Newcastle.
All the behind-the-scenes positions for today's TV broadcast from camera to director are held by Westminster College broadcast communications majors. Broadcast instruction from professionals in the field, plus extensive hands-on experience in both radio and television, can be found close to home. Be part of the action in the future. Learn more about broadcasting at Westminster College. For more information, contact the Westminster College admissions office.
And welcome back to Coach's Corner. This week's player measures up to be one of the smallest on the Titans squad. but at the same time, you can't measure the heart that he puts out on the field. This week's guest, Tyler Stiffy. Tyler, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Now, big news out of Stiffyland. I hear that you've got a big trip coming up courtesy of Westminster College.
Yeah, I actually scratched off a scratch ticket at the Tub last week. I was eating lunch with you, and it happened to be that I won 2 free airline tickets. I'm not real sure where yet. I haven't got back to the details, but I think I got kind of lucky on that one.
Any idea where you're going to go?
I mean, if I have my choice, I wouldn't mind flying to Hawaii, but I don't know how far they're going to let me go.
Now, back in the football state of mind, you're not a starter. However, you know, you're a key player of this Titan defense. How does that feel coming off the defense, or coming off the bench and making a big play for Titans?
I mean, it feels good whenever you come out and you can help out the team. I'm kind of in a position where I need to be ready to go at any time. I'm always, you know, mentally in the game at every play, and then whenever my number's called, I try to do my job.
Now, the expectations of the Titan team, we were picked to finish last at the beginning of the year. Now the expectations changed a little bit. What's the morale like in the Titan locker room right now?
After this past week, I mean, it's really picked up. We have a lot of confidence going to these last 2 games.
What was the morale like on the 3-game losing streak?
It never got too low, but at the same time, it was never too high. We try to not get too high with wins and not get too low with the losses.
The 3-game skid we talked about, W&J, Thomas More, and Bethany, what had to be done against Frostburg State to come out with a victory?
We need to find a way to play a full game. I mean, a couple games we played good offensively and played bad defensively. A couple games that we played a little bit better defensively. We may have struggled offensively, but along with special teams, we finally put it all together and got a true team victory.
When you guys had a chance to look at the tape, what things did you take away defensively that are going to help you out this week against Teal, as you as an individual and both as a team?
I think that we kind of picked up on a little bit, you know, we're going to be better with our reads this week. I know watching film this week, there's some things if we make our reads right that we can help ourselves on, but I think overall we just need to be a little bit more fundamentally sound this week.
Now, we were talking a little bit before the show, and you said the Teal game stands out to you last year. What things did you see last year that you guys are going to have to work on this year?
We gave up the big play too much last year, and I think that if we can help ourselves eliminate the big play, it's going to really help us out a lot.
You guys, you know, next week, of course, against Teal, what things do you guys need to do to come out with a victory on both sides of the ball?
I think defensively we need to make a couple stands. I mean, of course we need to make stands, but we need to eliminate the big play because that was our problem last year. And offensively, they just need to move the ball like they have been the last couple weeks.
And a week down the road, we see a very tough Waynesburg team. What do you think we have to do there as opposed to this week in Teal?
I haven't seen Waynesburg play, so I can't really say for certain on them. But you know, my concern this week would be Teal, and then after Teal, then we'll look into that.
Defensively, what has to be done to make this team 6-4 at the end of the season?
Everyone needs to do their job instead. You know, we just need to. You need to know that the guy next to you is going to do his job, and you need to worry about doing your job and not trying to take over and do too much.
And now, as a representative of the team, would it be disappointing to you as a player to be 6-4 after starting out to 3-1 start?
Starting out 3-1, yes. With a 3-game skid, and if we can rebound and pick things up, it would be nice to take a 3-game winning streak into the off season.
How exciting is it for you as a junior to look at this Titan team and to see the guys like Kevin Franz, Nick McCloskey, the receivers you have stepping up to make plays, and of course defensively. You guys are mostly juniors on the defensive line. You got a young linebacking core and young defensive backs. How exciting is it for you to look next year and say, hey, we got the same team coming in pretty much?
I mean, it's very exciting. I think that we're going to pick up as soon as the off-season workouts start, where we left off, and we're going to try to get after it and, you know, make a run next season.
Now, another defensive player on the Titan defense that you're very close with, Jordan Blinn. You're both Western Beaver grads. What's it like playing with somebody you played with in high school?
I mean, it's great playing with Jordan. Since I was 8 years old, I've never played in a game that Jordan wasn't on the field with me. So, I mean, it's really nice to have one of your best friends playing on the field with you.
Now, what's it like to have your family and friends and your girlfriend come to the game, see number 31 on the field, and see him make a big play?
I mean, it's always nice to make a big play in front of your parents. Even if you don't make a big play, they still like watching you play.
Now, after school, what's the future plans for Tyler Stiffy?
I had an internship this past summer, so maybe hopefully that could turn into a full-time job at the end.
All right. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks a lot.
We'll be back with Coach Hand right after this. You're watching Coach's Corner.
Why do dogs chase cars? It's the tires. We love them. And Tire Express loves tires as much as I do. Plus, Tire Express is the kind of place you can comfortably send your grandmother. Tire Express is great, with dependable tires and everyday low prices and honest service. And Tire Express is as fast as me, Chico. They get you in and out in a hurry. That's why Matt's been in the tire business for over 25 years. That's 175 in dog years. Tire Express, often copied, never equaled. When it comes to tires, they're the top dog.
So you're a huge Western Pennsylvania football fan? Then ncnewsonline.com is for you. Crunch is an award-winning internet site of the Newcastle News devoted to area high school football, where you'll get a daily fix of schedules, scores, rosters, highlights, opinion, and player profiles, plus video and photo galleries. Online at ncnewsonline.com. It's football coverage as it happens, designed for you, the dedicated fan. Crunch online at ncnewsonline.com.
Welcome back to Coach's Corner. I'm DJ Yoakley, now here to pick the brain of Coach Hand for the upcoming game against Teal. Coach, we talked about it earlier. Teal, a very physical team. You never know what to expect. They've had more roller coaster years in the past 3 years than Kennywood has had in his existence. What do we have to expect on Saturday?
Well, I think that it's going to be a great game. I mean, I think that they've had a week off. They're coming off of their bye week. They're going to be ultra prepared for us. We're going to be ultra prepared for them. We're coming off a great victory this past week, and we're going to be playing with confidence. And I think you're going to see a great game.
Talking as opposed to last week, what things do you see as a coach in your players this week that you didn't see last week coming off that 3-game skid?
Well, I think that we just have a little bit more pep in our step, a little bit more expectation to be able to get the job done.
Do you feel the morale's up a little more this week than it is for previous weeks, or do you think it's even keel?
Well, I mean, I think that it's a little bit up, but I believe that you don't want it ever up too far, and you don't want it ever down too far.
What is the biggest advantage for us going into a game against Teal on our home turf?
You just said it. I mean, we're on our home turf. I mean, we're going to defend our turf, and this is Senior Day for a great group of seniors and some guys that have really been through a lot, and we're going to play our tails off for them.
Now, looking at Teal, their tape, what's the biggest disadvantage we face going into the game, and how are we going to overcome it?
Well, I mean, I think that they are a very solid team, offensively, defensively, and special teams. They're fundamentally sound. They are a team it's not going to just rely on the running game or the passing game. They do things pretty well on both sides of the ball, and I don't believe there's a disadvantage. I think you're going to see two teams that are pretty well matched against each other, and I believe that if we play well, this is a Titan victory.
Do you guys feel a little more excited about the opportunity to play another local team in Teal as opposed to playing, let's say, a W&J?
Well, it's always great to play a conference game. When you're playing a home game and you're playing against a local team, it adds definitely a little bit more excitement. But I really believe that all the conference schools are, a little bit of a rivalry in their own.
Now, when I had a chance to look at the tape from last year, it looked to me as it was a game we should have won. We hung in there pretty much the whole game. What has to be done this year to come out with a victory as opposed to last year?
Just playing a complete game. I mean,
right.
if you saw the game last year, it kind of reminds you of our Bethany game this year. We played good at times, and then at times we didn't play the complete game.
All right, Coach. Good luck on Saturday.
Thank you.
That does it for this edition of Coach's Corner. We'll see you next week.